So we're almost done here actually. The last piece we're really missing to get you started off right is um, like deletion, copying, pasting, shifting things around. They all kind of fit into the same category. So maybe let's start with uh, selection. Um, so you can select stuff in visual mode with V, and then you'll see that you can just use the same movement commands. I just used B to go backwards, or we can you can get like a more fine-grained approach like this. You can also start selecting whole lines as you move up and down, which is pretty cool. Um, and so that's a lowercase v, okay? So I'm going to say basic selection. So lowercase v is just like enter, I don't know, I forget the name of what it's called, but basically visual selection with single character, currently highlighted character. By the same token, if you want to select a whole line, you just do capital V, okay? So capital V selects a whole line. Now, this would be a good time to show you copying as well. So, and deletion actually. So I have a whole line like this, and I just hit Y, which is an old school term for copying stuff. It means it stands for yank. And then paste, P, just paste. So P, I just pasted it, okay? U to undo, I'll repeat that several times, okay? So P, U, and if I want to paste above this line that I'm on, just capital P, okay? So lowercase p below, uppercase P above. That's kind of similar to these discrepancies, like I before and I way before, you know what I mean? So like I insert before, I insert at the beginning of the line, A insert after the character, A insert at the end of the line, So the capital letters tend to be like more, modified versions of their lowercase equivalents. So we could do V, Y, and P to move this down here, right? And then we could just use this line that we just copied to write about the capital V version. You know what I mean? So I can move here, go I, just backspace, capital V, and use V to select these words. And then I hit X to delete. I'll reiterate that in a second. And whole line. Okay? So there are two basic deletion commands, and they're just D, again, just yanked and pasted. Only this time I did YY. So just Y will, what am I thinking of here? Oh, that's interesting. Huh, that's interesting. I'll have to play with that later. I just know that YY yanks a whole word. I'm getting off topic already. Here, what we'll do is do basic copying, pasting, because I forgot to write that down. And again, this is the thing about Vim is that you just reuse stuff. It makes it easy because you can just reuse blocks of text everywhere. So like Y, I just used R for replace, by the way. Y YY and yank whole line, which is short. It's a shortcut from, you know, capital V Y, right? Like this. You know what I mean? And then, oh yeah, and then P, paste above, or let's see, paste after, or yeah, paste after. So if you copy a letter and you hit P, you're going to be, you know, doing that. If you hit VY and paste and do capital P, you'll be pasting before your cursor. Does that make sense? Now, and then X is just basic delete, really. Just delete whatever your cursor is on. D is different. D has this similar style to Y, where you see that little half, how the cursor kind of like reduces to half size. It's waiting for an extra. It's waiting for like a modifier, like a movement or something like that. So if I go DH like that, it deletes backwards. If I go DL like that, it deletes forwards. D up will delete that line and the line above it, which is interesting. Although I tend to just use DD. That's my most used D command. And similar to how YY yanks a whole line, DD will delete a whole line. So delete whole line. Now you might have noticed something interesting. In Vim, when you delete something, it automatically goes on your clipboard. So if I delete this line, I can paste it indefinitely. You know, that gets put on my clipboard, and that applies even to whatever you delete, right? I just X'd that E, and I'm just putting it back now, right? So that's really sweet, especially for things like reordering. You know, you can, if I wanted to move this, I could just select those lines and paste them above. You know what I mean? I do that all the time. These are really it, and I think the only other thing you should know about is undo, which is just U. So undo. That one's awesome, and it goes way back. You can, like, especially in the command line version, or in the terminal version of Vim, you can undo quite a bit. It has like a pretty extensive history, and it'll even show you that, like, I'll just show you right now. It'll show you down at the bottom. You can see down here, it's showing me like when that change was made, which is really helpful because sometimes I want to, like, if I was like working at something late at night and I want to undo it, I can just open the file and cycle back and be like, okay, yeah, like that was around midnight when I made that change. You know, kind of helps you jog your memory. Oh yeah, so basic undo. It's just U. That's the only undo command I know and use. Got only a couple more to cover here. So one of my favorite commands is changing indentation, which is just the angle brackets, the caret things between the M key and the question mark / key, you know? So like all of this stuff, I think it should be formatted on the same column as these guys. So I can just select them and do angle bracket right, or I can select them and do angle bracket left. And that also kind of introduces the period key, which just repeats the last command, which is nice. especially for, so you don't have to do this over and over and over again. You just, whoops. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. Let's see, basic select. I guess we'll put that over here. It's not exactly the same, but yeah, shift indentation, whatever. What else? I think we're almost done. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, that just reminded me. So, the movement commands and a lot of other commands besides that, you can actually prefix them with numbers to repeat them a certain number of times. So what I mean by that is, if I want to go up to this line where this horizontal thing is, and I'm right here, I can just do 5K to go up 5 lines, 3K to go up 3 lines. And I have this nice relative numbering plugin installed, which, let me see here. I have it in the terminal application, the terminal version of Vim too. I can't remember what it's called in here. It's like relative numbers. Yeah, just relative dash numbers. So you can search for that and go grab it. It's really nice for Vim usage particularly, because like you can just easily see exactly where you need to go, like that. Let's see here. I think that's really it. I mean that'll get you going with the pretty much any of the major operations you need to do in Vim. It looks kind of like a lot of weird stuff at first, but if you just remember some of the mnemonics for these things, where they exist, I mean, like B and E, that's pretty easy, beginning, end. Y is for yank, D is for delete, X is for X, I guess. Oh, there's one last really sweet thing that I'm going to show you that has to do with, I think it's, what is it called in, yeah, V block, yeah, visual block. So that's Control V, and that lets you do like vertical selections and horizontal for that matter. What I mean by that is, like, let's say I wanted to change all of these hyphens to like stars, like asterisks. I just do Control V and scroll down like that, and then just maybe I would hit R for replace and just type what I want, and there you go, you're done. Atom has such good multiple cursor support that you can actually also you can do all that and hit Shift I and just start editing right away, which is pretty nice. In vanilla Atom, just plain Atom, you can, if you put your cursor on a word and hit D, Command D, it'll start selecting matches for you, which is pretty cool. So then you can just do, just edit whatever you want. That's really it. These are like the big ones, I think. You don't have to go into like, I don't honestly know the X mode stuff as well as I could. I just mainly stick by the movements, and these will pretty much get you where you need to go. So I hope that was informative. I hope you try it out. It's weird at first, but it's not hard. It's not like, it's just a lot of stuff to. It's just muscle memory you're building, really. It's not like learning a programming language, and it's super worth it. Because like I mean, it's not only worth it because you can edit so much faster and get stuff from your brain onto the page faster, but also just because it works pretty much everywhere. I mean, anywhere that anywhere that you can like anywhere that Vim is installed, which is virtually anywhere, you can use it. So, like if you SSH into a terminal, which is just where you like uh, log into a remote computer over the command line, you won't have access to a graphical user interface. And if you need to edit any text files on that computer, you can always use Nano, um, which is fine, but if you already know Vim, you just can fire it up and just immediately start going to it. Okay, so it's super worthwhile, and I hope you give it a shot. Feel free to leave any comments or ask me any questions. I would be happy to answer them, and if I forgot anything, let me know about that too.